Me, my fiancé, and his best friend have a very strange relationship that is driving me insane. Hi. I don't really know how to approach this without sounding like I'm ranting, but here it goes. I have been in a steady relationship for the past 4 years. My boyfriend and I dated for about 15 months before deciding to move in together. Living together has been wonderful. Recently, we got engaged, and now we are in the process of planning our wedding. We are both very excited about it. He is a great person, basically what you would call a genuinely good guy. He is very bright, incredibly funny, has a good job, and has always been caring and loyal. He is a bit of a dork and a nerd in some ways, which I absolutely love. Without a doubt, he is the best guy I have ever been with. I love him deeply, and he loves me very much. My family and friends adore him. So far, everything sounds perfect, right? Now enter his best friend, Sandy. This girl is a total nightmare. They have been best friends for as long as anyone can remember. When I met her a few years ago, I immediately felt that something was off. I knew she was bad news. She is very attractive and fully aware of it. She dresses provocatively, is flirtatious, teasing, and knows exactly how to get attention. If you know the type, you can easily picture her. She has never been outright rude to me, and she has never openly disrespected me. We simply keep our distance. We are polite when we are around each other, and that is it. Despite appearances, she is not stupid. She has 2 children and recently got divorced. She has always been a constant presence in my fiancé's life, and I honestly cannot understand why. I want to be clear, I am not naive or narrow-minded. I have male friends, and I truly believe that men and women can be close friends without anything sexual happening. However, the relationship they have goes beyond what I am comfortable with. It is far too close, and everyone around us seems to think so as well. This has been going on for years. There are so many things that bother me that I don't even know where to begin without sounding like a crazy, jealous person. The only thing that ever gave me some peace of mind was the fact that she lives about 1,000 miles away in South Florida. She is constantly texting him. I have checked his phone a few times, not because he hides anything, but because we are very open with each other. He doesn't mind. I know I probably shouldn't, but I did. She is always telling him that she misses him, that they should see each other more often, asking when he is coming home, saying she wants to come visit him, or mentioning that a song reminded her of him. She sends pictures, selfies, and random messages that feel unnecessary. Sometimes it feels like I am watching a pair of 15-year-olds. Most of the time, I don't make a big deal out of it. The one thing that truly unsettles me, though, is when she tells him she loves him, and he tells her he loves her back. For me, love is a very strong word, and that part bothers me deeply. On top of that, she has drunk dialed him several times at very odd hours, even when she was still married. That makes me incredibly angry. Over the years, we have had several serious arguments about this. I have met his family, and they are very kind people. They like me, and I get along well with them. His sister and I especially get along, and despite the distance, we have become good friends. The first time I met his sister, Sandy was coming to town, and she didn't look happy about it. A couple of years later, once we knew each other better, I finally asked her why she disliked Sandy so much. She told me she had never liked her, not even when they were children. She said Sandy was always trouble and constantly did reckless or inappropriate things. No one in their family liked her, but because she was always around, they tolerated her and accepted her presence in the household. She explained that when they were preteens, Sandy was always at their house. She would stay overnight and sneak into my fiancé's bedroom. Apparently, their parents either didn't notice or didn't care. In high school, Sandy was known for being mean and dramatic, while my fiancé was more of a nerd. She never understood how they remained friends because they didn't even associate with the same social groups. My fiancé's first girlfriend always felt threatened by Sandy, and, according to his sister, I would not be the last woman to feel that way. I spoke to my fiancé about all of this, and he confirmed it was true. I have asked him directly, more than once, if they ever had a physical or sexual relationship in the past. He has always denied it. He insists that they were only ever friends. When Sandy got married, my fiancé was the best man at her wedding, at her insistence. Her now ex-husband and her children would spend time with us during holidays and special occasions. I actually got along better with her husband than with her. He was about 10 years older than us and either seemed completely oblivious to their strange dynamic or simply didn't care. My fiancé is the godfather to her youngest child, and both kids call him uncle. He adores them, and they adore him. He is wonderful with children, including his nephews, so I have never complained about that. Occasionally, Sandy's father or other family members come into town and contact my fiancé to meet for lunch or spend time together. They are clearly very fond of him and care deeply about him. Last year, he flew down to Florida to attend a convention with Sandy because she managed to get tickets that were hard to obtain. A few months ago, I went with him to visit his parents. Sandy showed up unannounced. That night, she and my fiancé got drunk in his parents' living room, watching stupid movies, while I was asleep. We had a massive fight about it afterward. His sister later told me that they used to do things like that all the time, which only made me angrier. A few days later, we all ended up having Christmas dinner together, Sandy, her kids, my fiancé, and his family. It was extremely uncomfortable and not a happy experience for me. What bothers me even more is that my fiancé barely drinks. He might have a beer once in a while or a glass of wine with a nice meal. Sandy, however, brings out the worst behavior in him. I have met all of his close friends. One of his best male friends lives nearby with his wife. The three of them went to Florida State together and, at one point, even shared an apartment. They are our closest friends. His friend's wife has always openly said that she cannot stand Sandy and bluntly refers to her as a whore. Now that you understand what I have been dealing with, here is what happened next. A few nights ago, we were at our place with friends celebrating our engagement and setting a wedding date. One of them told me there was something I should know about Sandy. I wasn't surprised, since she has never liked her. She told me she hated how Sandy always managed to insert herself into their lives, even though she didn't attend Florida State with them. Sandy would stay for weeks at a time in my fiancé's room and had ruined several of his past relationships. She even once punched one of his ex-girlfriends after discovering that the girlfriend had cheated on him. Then she told me something I had never heard before. During a spring break trip, after a week of drinking and partying, she walked into a room and found my fiancé and Sandy completely naked with another couple. No underwear. No towels. Nothing covering them. She did not see anyone actively having sex, but 4 adults, 2 men and 2 women, naked in a room together raises obvious questions. This all happened long before I met him. I know everyone has a past, but this information shook me deeply. It made me question everything. Whenever I bring up stories like this, my fiancé laughs them off and insists that nothing ever happened between him and Sandy. He continues to claim they have only ever been friends and that nothing inappropriate has ever gone on or ever will. As we are now planning our wedding, things have only gotten worse. Sandy is supposed to be the best man. She is already talking about planning his bachelor party and even organizing a trip to Las Vegas. Final update. Hi, thank you all for your comments and advice. Some of them were really helpful. I just wish I had paid more attention to them instead of blindly rushing into things. I confronted my fiancé calmly one night while we were out to dinner. I told him I did not want Sandy to be the best man at our wedding. I did not want her to plan his bachelor party, and most importantly, I did not want her in our lives anymore. Of course, he could still keep in touch with his godson, but I wanted all other contact limited strictly to that. It did not go well. At first, he thought I was joking. When I told him I was not, he said he could not believe it. He told me he had always been truthful and honest with me from day one, that he had never lied about their friendship or tried to hide or downplay it. He said he could not understand why, after all this time, I was bringing it up now. We argued some more. It did not get heated, just an argument. We left it unresolved, agreeing to nothing. The next day, I asked him what he thought about the conversation we had the night before. He said I was overreacting and that he could not understand why I was being so obtuse about it. I told him things were going to change because we were getting married. He told me things should not change, especially since we had been living together for years and, as he added, happily. It went back and forth for a while. He basically dismissed it and said I was not thinking straight. He jokingly called me a bridezilla. That really made me angry. A couple of days later, I gave him an ultimatum. I told him I did not want Sandy as the best man, and I did not want her in our lives anymore. My now ex-fiancé has always been a calm person. I, on the other hand, have always been more emotional and impulsive. He told me to think about what I was asking him. He said she was not part of our life, but part of his life, and that sometimes lines had indeed been crossed. Even though he did not see things the same way I did, he said he respected my point of view. However, he was only willing to make limited changes, no bachelor party, and he would try to reduce contact. That was it. He said he was not changing her role as best man. She was his best friend, had always been, and nothing I or anyone else could say or do would change that. He told me I knew him and that he was not a child who reacted emotionally the way I did. He pointed out that I knew he was a reasonable and understanding man, but that it was unfair to put him in this position. He told me I was being emotional and asked me to reconsider and give it a couple of days to cool off. I yelled at him and told him to choose. He did not say anything. He slept on the couch. We did not speak for about 2 days. That weekend, he told me he wanted to talk. I agreed. He asked me what my thoughts were. I told him I had not changed my mind. He asked if I was 100% sure. I said I was. My mind was set, no Sandy as best man, no bachelor party organized by her, and no contact. He simply said, okay. Then it's over. Call the wedding off. I almost had a heart attack. I was furious and heartbroken. I became very agitated and told him I could not believe he was choosing her over me. He said he was not choosing her, he was choosing himself. He said that if I could not accept him the way he was, as I had always done in the past, and if I could not trust or believe him, then it was over. He said he had always trusted me, and if I could not do the same, it was not worth continuing. I yelled at him more and told him I knew about the time they went on spring break together. He said they had gone on vacation together many times and still did, and that I knew all of this. I asked him, what about the time you were naked together in a room with another couple? He told me all I had to do was ask him instead of creating drama. That made me even angrier. He said he had always been honest with me and still was, that he had nothing to hide, and that it was probably XXXXX who told me. I said it was. We calmed down a little, and he asked if I wanted to know. I told him I did. He said it was true, that they had indeed been naked together in a room when XXXXX walked in. He explained that they had met a slightly older married couple on the first day of the trip. After drinks, partying, and spending time together, the couple suggested swapping partners. He said they were all attractive, sparks were flying, and it happened during a time when they were both single, young, and experimenting. They had sex in the same room. I told him, so you had an orgy? He said no, that it was not an orgy. He had sex with a woman, and Sandy had sex with a man, but he and Sandy never had sex with each other. I said, so you expect me to believe you were naked in the same room, in the same bed, while she had sex with a stranger and you had sex with his wife, and nothing happened between you two? He said, exactly. I told him I did not believe him. He said that was on me, that it was the truth, and that he had no reason to lie. He said he had never lied to me before and was not about to start. He also reminded me that this happened over 10 years ago, before he met me, and that whatever happened back then did not matter because it was in the past. I told him I wanted him out. He said he would leave the next day. Before he left, he told me he loved me and that I was wrong in making a mistake. He told me I knew him and that if he walked out that door, I would never see him again. I wished him well and told him I was not changing my mind, that he had chosen her, and that he was a liar. He told me to keep everything and said he would come by while I was at work to get his things. I have not seen him since. The first few days were terrible. I felt awful. I talked to my sister, and she said I had screwed up, big time, as she now tells me. I was still angry and felt justified. I am very stubborn. I sent Sandy horrible text messages, calling her a whore and telling her I hoped she was happy ruining my life. She never replied. That is not one of my proudest moments. He came back while I was at work and picked up his clothes, books, toys, and personal items. He left everything else, including gifts I had given him over the years. He left the key. I lost it. I could not believe he went through with it and just ended everything. We are adults, for God's sake. I called him, texted him, emailed him, no response. I called his work and was told he was unavailable. I called his sister, whom I considered a friend, and she said she did not want to get involved. I could not stop crying. I went to my sister's house and told her everything. Now she says I overreacted, that I took something small and blew it out of proportion, and that he was a good man and I should not have put him in that position. I reminded her that she was the one who told me to give him an ultimatum. Now she says I misunderstood her. Thanks, sis. My mom knows as well. She agreed with my sister and said I had screwed up, but that it was my decision and they both support me. My sister told me I would never find another man like him. I was furious at her, mostly because she is right. I have had time to think, and I have been hurting badly. I think I made a mistake. I acted impulsively and irrationally. I hate to admit it, but I was jealous, insecure, and envious of what they had. Some things are true. As one commenter said, they had their entire lives to be together, so why haven't they? If Sandy truly wanted to ruin our relationship, she could have done it a long time ago. This is on me. Another commenter pointed out something else that I now see clearly: she was never rude or disrespectful to me. She kept her distance and never invaded my space. She did nothing wrong. The only time she was not polite was when her kids were misbehaving and I yelled at her. She got angry and said they were children. I think I was a bitch about it and deserved her reaction. I never apologized. I was also too judgmental and allowed myself to be influenced by what others said about her. The naked situation, while it sounds unbelievable, might actually be true. He never lied to me. Over the years, he always answered my questions, even the petty and stupid ones. I just could not let it go. My sister pointed out that he could have simply not told me. He could have denied it or said it never happened, and I would never have known. Instead, he chose honesty, every time. He was the best man I have ever been with. He always treated me right, was a true gentleman, never disrespected me, never raised his voice. He did small things like opening doors, picking me up from work even when I did not need it. He was smart and hardworking. He was not wealthy, but he took care of the bills. At first we split rent, but later he paid it all without me asking and always told me to save my wages or spend them on myself. He was attentive and patient, even when I had my outbursts. I admit that in the past I sometimes acted like a spoiled brat, and he was the first person who never called me out on it. My life has gone to hell, and I cannot help but think it is my fault. Like my sister said, I made my bed, now I have to lie in it.